Many unconfirmed news on social media spark new questions. China delivering J-35A stealth fighters to Pakistan on fast track. Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh reportedly finalized the logistics and financing details of the J-35 fighter jet deal during his visit to China immediately after Operation Sindoor. Whether China can fast-track the production and deliveries of an aircraft that has just begun production remains a moot point. The earlier spoken timelines for such deliveries were 2029. Pakistan is also part of Turkish Khan project have another point which we cannot ignore. Both China and Turkey stood with Pakistan during war, but Chinese J-35A and Turkish Khan are not ready for deliveries. Chinese J-35A, designed for export market just passed for series production have many tests to pass yet. The Khan fighter jet, Turkey's domestically developed fifth-generation aircraft, is expected to be delivered to the Turkish Air Force in stages, with the first 20 Block 10 aircraft planned for delivery by 2028. Production is expected to scale up to 2 jets per month by 2029. The program aims to produce at least 100 Khan jets by the mid-2030s to establish air superiority and support NATO commitments. Indian Air Force already under pressure due to Rafale failure and no project is in pipeline to address shortage of fighters. The timeline for the induction of India's homegrown fifth-generation Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, AMCA, is around 2035, when Chinese inducting sixth-generation fighters enjoying air supremacy. The race for fighter jets sparked future air dominance dynamics in the subcontinent, which has generated a heated debate about India's immediate options. Meanwhile, the Indian strategic community is discussing the need for an interim fifth-generation fighter for the Indian Air Force, IAF. China, India's major adversary, already has around 300 J-25th-generation fighters, and the number is growing by around 60 a year. China has also unveiled 2 sixth-generation fighter jets, Chengdu J-36 and Shenyang J-50, on December 26, 2024, in Chengdu, representing their next evolutionary leap based on 2 decades of R&D. The only other mature fifth-generation fighters flying in reasonable numbers are the American Lockheed Martin's F-35, F-22 Raptor, Chinese J-20, and Russian Su-57. Recently American firm offered India F-16 Vipers, F-21, but Indian Air Force again undecided, due to political considerations. Indian eyed F-35 for many years but USA never offered F-35 to India. USA offered F-15 Eagle X and F-16 Vipers in recent years but Indian Air Force rejected this offer. USA also offered Indian Navy F/A-18 Super Hornet, but rejected by Indian Navy on technical reasons. After recent India-Pakistan conflict, Indian Air Force shortage of fighters and training lapses exposed badly. Indian Air Force points lacks flying hours due to shortage of trainers and fighters. The race for fifth-generation fighters begins with induction of F-22 to U.S. Air Force. The fifth generation was ushered in by the Lockheed Martin, Boeing F-22 Raptor in late 2005. These aircraft were designed from the start to operate in a network-centric combat environment and feature extremely low, all-aspect, multispectral signatures employing advanced materials and shaping techniques. These aircraft are very expensive. The F-22 costs around $227 million. Due to very high costs and maintenance issues, USAF retiring F-22 in 2035. Despite a large production scale, Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II fighters will cost, on average, between $95 million to $125 million depending on the variant. China's J-20 has been flying since January 2011, and combat units started inducting in early 2018. Today, they have nearly 300 aircraft. The other operational fifth-generation aircraft includes Russia's Sukhoi Su-57, but Indians are not ready to induct any Russian equipment into their air force. Su-57 was a joint venture of India and Russia, but India exit this project due to engines of this fighter have less thrust required by Indian Air Force. Recently in Aero India, Russia again offered Su-57 with new engines and technology transfer but rejected by India. The Shenyang J-31, now designated J-35, first flew in October 2012. The program has received government funding and is being sought after by both the PLA Air Force, PLAAF, and PLA Naval Aviation, PLANAF. Pakistan is trying to be its first export customer. Sixth-generation technology includes advanced digital capabilities, high-capacity networking, AI, data fusion, cyber warfare, and battlefield command, control, and communications (C3) capabilities. Increased speed and range, advanced stealth airframes and avionics. A more modular design, with primary aircraft components able to be swapped within hours to optimize for the mission requirements and ease the introduction of future upgrades. Software architecture with the separation of flight-critical operations from other functionality. Use of advanced GaN transistors in AESA radar. Increased battlefield survivability in the highly contested, anti-access, area denial, A2, AD, environment and enhanced ground support, attack adapted to the future threat environment. An initial focus on air superiority roles has moved away from close-in dogfighting, which is becoming less common, and instead broadened to embrace ground support, cyber warfare, and even space warfare capabilities, with very long-range air-to-air missiles, VLRAAM, capability remaining important. The flexibility to undertake manned and unmanned missions is also sought, along with the ability to integrate with more numerous fleets of satellite drones and ground sensors in a high-traffic networked environment to deliver full, data-to-decision, D2D, capability. The sixth-generation fighters will have mostly single-seat cockpits. Basic flying and procedures training will be mostly conducted on simulators. Some will be optionally manned, which will perform AI-supported missions. Manned fighters will control, loyal wingmen, or a swarm of drones for both offensive and defensive tasks. The aircraft will be able to act as an airborne network node. It will be capable of receiving and relaying data to multiple platforms, such as other aircraft, ground vehicles, or satellites. It will also process data on board and dynamically generate new target lists or update mission parameters on the fly. Increased range sensors and standoff weapons that can take both aerial and surface targets are needed. Greater electrical power generation is also needed to enable directed energy weapons, DEW, such as laser close-in weapon systems, CIWS. A virtual cockpit and helmet-mounted display allow the pilot 360-degree vision and eliminate many cockpit displays. It will use adaptive versatile engine technology. The sixth-generation strike capability includes a system of systems, including communications, space capabilities, standoff, and stand-in options. Chinese sixth-generation aircraft, Chengdu J-36, a tri-jet tailless double delta-winged aircraft, and Shenyang J-50, featuring a cranked arrow configuration with sharply swept lambda wings, have already flown. On September 14, 2020, the USA revealed that it had secretly designed, built, and flown at least one prototype of its next-generation air dominance, NGAD, fighter. On the 21st of March 2025, President Trump announced that the centerpiece aircraft would be the F-47 and that Boeing would be awarded the engineering and manufacturing development contract, worth more than $20 billion. The Boeing F-47, an air superiority sixth-generation fighter, will succeed the F-22 in the United States Air Force, USAF. The service aims to field it by the end of the decade. USAF intends to buy 185 plus F-47s, which will have a combat radius of more than 1,000 nautical miles and a top speed faster than Mach 2. Being able to pierce deeply into the enemy's A2, AD bubble will be an absolutely essential feature. There will be a premium on range and overall endurance. The Global Combat Air Program, GCAP, is a multinational initiative led by the United Kingdom, Japan, and Italy to jointly develop a sixth-generation stealth fighter. In December 2023, the three governments signed a treaty to develop a common fighter jet. They merged their previously separate sixth-generation projects, such as the United Kingdom-led Tempest, developed with Italy, and the Japanese Mitsubishi FX. Under the current timeline, the program expects to begin the formal development phase in 2025, with a demonstrator aircraft flying in 2027 and production aircraft entering service in 2035. India is being wooed to join the GCAP. The Future Combat Air System, FCAS, is a French-German-Italian initiative being developed by Dassault Aviation, Airbus, and Indra Systems. The FCAS will consist of a next-generation weapons system, NGWS, as well as other air assets for the future operational battle space. The NGWS's components will be remote carrier vehicles, swarming drones, and a new generation fighter, NGF, a planned sixth-generation jet. It will replace France's Rafale and Germany and Spain's Typhoons. A test flight of a demonstrator is expected around 2027, and the aircraft will enter service around 2040. Russia's Sukhoi Su-57, Felon, evolved from the Indo-Russian fifth-generation fighter aircraft, FGFA, contract for which was signed in October 2007. The FGFA itself had evolved from Russia's PAK-FA. By 2014, however, the Indian Air Force, IAF, began voicing concerns over performance, cost, and work share. India found that the aircraft did not meet its requirements and eventually left the partnership in 2018. Sukhoi continued to develop and promote the Su-57 for prospective export customers. The export variant, designated Su-57E, was officially unveiled at the MAKS 2019 Air Show on the 28th of August 2019. The Su-57 has been showcased at many airshows, including in China and India. The first operational unit was formed in 2021. It is supposed to be a multi-role aircraft with significant air-to-air and ground attack capability. The aircraft were first reportedly used in the Syrian campaign in 2018. Russia has claimed that Su-57 saw significant combat in Ukraine. Around 42 Su-57 have been produced to date. Russia has already ordered nearly 30 more. Numbers will increase as they go ahead. Indian Air Force still waiting for local Taj's Mk1 and Mk2 expected to be delivered by 2028. The fact is very painful for Indian taxpayers, that both fighters not ready for combat until 2030. The Taj's Mk2 dependent on US supplied engines and India cannot export these fighters without US consent. The fifth-generation fighter India is still a vision and drawing only, and its prototype expected in 2035. Indian Air Force after Rafale failure have very thin options in future. China build a massive aviation industry which now knocking doors of West.